Geoffrey Nice. He's the former lead prosecutor at the International Criminal Court and joins us from Canterbury in the UK. Geoffrey, it's great to have you on this news hour. Thanks so much for your time.
Good morning.
A case like this is quite unprecedented in Ukraine for obvious reasons, but given the images over the last 3 months that we've seen come out of that country and the alleged war crimes that have taken place there, how objective can a trial really be? Do you expect a clear-out guilty verdict later today?
I have no idea what the verdict will be. Of course, it can be fair and objective. Indeed, the very fact that the eyes of the world are so firmly fixed on this trial probably guarantees that the best possible standards will be applied by the prosecutor and by the court. So I have no concerns about the trial being fair. And in case anybody thinks that there's something inherently wrong in this trial happening in Ukraine, just ask yourself for your own country, Turkey, Britain, wherever else it might be. Somebody invaded you, committed war crimes and was arrested on your territory. Who would try them? Well, you would, of course. So it's perfectly okay to try him.
Well, the lawyer defending Vadim Shishimarin has asked the court to acquit his client based on the argument he had executed an order that was given to him by his commanders. Is that a valid defense when it comes to the military or for a soldier?
No, there's no defense of superior orders. In war, soldiers at all levels are expected to know the law sufficiently to refuse to deliver or refuse to obey a command that is unlawful. So if the act here was unlawful, then the defendant has no defense in saying he was instructed to do it. The authorities make it clear that that can amount to a mitigating circumstance when it comes to the question of sentence, but it doesn't give him a defense.
UN investigators are now looking into alleged war crimes, especially in areas like Bucha and other towns near and around the capital, Kiev. Ukraine says it's identified more than 10,000 possible war crimes allegedly committed by Russia. What evidence is needed in order to prosecute someone for war crimes at an international level?
Well, international or national level is always the same. You need evidence that a person does an act and that the act is unlawful. The complexity, the difficulty of doing that varies on a case-by-case basis. If you have a soldier witnessed killing a civilian, then prima facie, he's a guilty man. He should certainly be tried. If you have a troop of men or a platoon of men committing an attack on an area where it is said that there was outgoing gunfire, even if the area was civilian, then it might be harder to prove because you've got to prove against them that they knew that the situation was one where firing would be unlawful. Depends, case by case. What one can say is that to try this number of cases is maybe a laudable ambition, but it will be extremely difficult to do in anything like a reasonable time. But that's up to them. And whether ultimately the politics of trying literally everyone down to the last soldier, the last corporal, the last sergeant, each of whom will be saying, even of an illegal act, they were acting in accordance with what they were instructed. Whether the politics of doing that is ultimately going to hold, I don't know. It's a matter for politicians.
Geoffrey, does today's verdict, regardless of what it is, hold any clout at the ICC?
It doesn't need to hold clout at the ICC. That question inverts what the proper position is. The Superior Court is the national court. The International Court only comes into play if it can be seen that the national courts are not doing their job properly. So the national court verdict is prima facie the top verdict, and there's no question of whether you have to go out and ask if it's respected. If, on the other hand, there was evidence that the trials were not being conducted properly, then it wouldn't be for the court not to recognize it. It would be for the court to take over or to try and take over the trial of the individual concerned. But something called complementarity, a long word, and I'm not sure whether it existed before the ICC came into being, means that the ICC only acts complementary to national jurisdiction when national jurisdiction, the exercise of national jurisdiction, may be shown to be failing.
Geoffrey Nice, really fantastic to get your expertise on this matter, speaking to us there from Canterbury. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome.